Okay, well, we just did that and made a little bit of a mess. Okay, I am going to invite you into my spiced keto hot cocoa, which I am just in the middle of building a batch of TSL Organics Christmas spice. Now, let's just see. Now, we're going to grind this a little bit more, I think. Now, one of the things about making a spice blend that you're going to put in hot cocoa. Okay, I'm going to make noise here. Just hang tough. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there. That should be all the noise that we have for today. Now, the reason that we had that noise is because I was grinding up some fresh fennel seed, which is one of the magic ingredients in my TSL Organics Christmas Spice Blend. And that is the newest addition to the TSL Organics family. And I am excited to share it with you today. Now, we are going to do something that we have never done before. And when you think about hot chocolate, and I just made a mess all over the place, but that's okay. We will deal with that later. Okay, when you think about hot chocolate, most people think about a cup full of delicious sugar and chocolate and yumminess, and we are going to do everything except the sugar. We are going to substitute carb-packed sugar, so there's not going to be any garbage in this. We're going to replace it with a golden erythritol. Now, the gold, you can use regular. If all you have is the white erythritol, that's absolutely fine. But we are going to replace it with golden erythritol because that's just how we roll. Okay, now, have you got a pot? Are you near the stove? Because you can do this right along with me. So if you have whatever spices you have, okay. Now, let's get busy. Let me find a camera button here. There we go. Okay, now we're not going to need this because I have already pre-measured everything, but if you're making this with me, get your scale out. Okay, first thing we are going to do is just grab a pinch of salt, and I know it seems like salt does not belong in hot chocolate, but salt enhances the flavor of everything. So if you're really wanting to taste the flavors of the chocolate and the spices and the golden erythritol and everything that we're putting in there, this is something that you want to do. Okay, now, next thing we are going to do, if I can find my measuring cup, we are going to add 2 cups, 500 milliliters of non-dairy milk. And when I say non-dairy milk, okay, and non-grain milk. So coconut milk, almond milk. You want to stay away from cashews because cashews have a lot of carbs. You want to stay away from oat milk because that's a grain, so that's inflammatory. And if you are diabetic, it's also going to raise your blood sugar a lot. So want to stay away from oat milk. So almond milk or coconut milk. Either one of those is fine. And I'm splashing all over the place. So 500 milliliters of your choice of keto-friendly non-dairy milk. And I'm splashing all over the place. Now, have you guys noticed I'm missing my apron? Good grief. Okay, well, that is easily fixed because I have a whole collection of them hanging over there. Now, we have that in the pan, and we're going to turn that on about 4 if you're using, so medium to medium low, because we don't want to boil this too hard. but we do want it heated up, and we're going to add some spices to this, and it's going to be delicious. Okay, we have 500 milliliters of almond milk, unsweetened. Now, it is important that you read the label and make sure that the almond milk that you're buying is unsweetened, because sweetened almond milk is, when you look at the package and it says original, that is going to be sweetened almost 100% of the time. Okay, now I am adding 3 tablespoons of cocoa. Now I've got to show you. Now this is the cocoa that I use, and I buy this at Costco. I love shopping at Costco. The deals there are wonderful, and they have organic options, and so that is awesome. Now, I just need to find my little whisk, and we're going to, now you want to whisk this in because you don't want lumps of anything in the bottom. So a whisk is definitely helpful there, or if you have an immersion blender, let's bring you over here so that we can chat while I'm actually stirring the pot. I'm good at stirring the pot. Ask my husband, he'll tell you. Okay, now we're going to whisk this and make sure that there are no lumps of anything. A lump of cocoa that is unsweetened is gross, in my opinion. Okay, we can add the 40 grams of golden erythritol. Now, sweeten to taste. If you've been doing keto for quite some time, you may not need 40 grams. You might need 20 grams. You might need 80 grams. I don't know. It depends how sweet is your sweet tooth. Mine is pretty sweet still. Okay, now I have been working on a new batch of my TSL Organics Christmas Spice. And this is something that you can buy from me anywhere that you see me. It's got all kinds of magic in it. And in any Christmas spice, one of the most important things is going to be cinnamon, of course. And if you can buy things, if you can buy cinnamon sticks, if you can buy a good quality fresh cinnamon stick and grind it yourself, that is always best. Anything that you can get that you can grind yourself, that's always going to give you much better flavor. So you can buy nutmegs and just get a microplane, and you can have fresh ground nutmeg, and I promise you it is going to be amazing. You'll be so glad you did. Now, fresh ground nutmeg is something that I will have in my TSL lineup, but I do not just yet. So what we are going to do now, you are not going to have the TSL Christmas Spice Blend at home yet. You will hopefully soon. But, oh goodness me, I forgot to click a button over here. There we go. Okay. If you don't have the TSL Christmas Spice at home, add 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, or 1/4 of a teaspoon. A little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of star anise. Pick any of the nice warm spices that you really enjoy. Now, one of the ones that I really enjoy making is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So the same 500 milliliters of milk, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of star anise. And it is absolutely delicious. Now you want to let this come to a simmer because you put these beautiful raw spices in here. You definitely want this to come to a simmer and just simmer for a little bit. You want that cocoa to get activated. You want the golden erythritol Oh, I'm glad you are, Evelyn. You know, if you like hot chocolate and you have been doing keto and it's something that you've been missing, especially at this time of year, if you're outside doing something, whether it's something fun or something not so fun, shoveling snow is kind of a thing in most neighborhoods in Canada at this time of year. Coming into a nice hot cup of cocoa is a real treat. Now, here's the other thing. A nice hot cup of cocoa, you can mix half cocoa and half coffee. Yeah, cafe mocha, that's what it is. Half cocoa, half coffee, and it is delicious. So, are you having a hot cup of coffee in the morning? Maybe you want to add a little bit of cocoa to it. And when you make this, put it in a container. Let it cool and then throw it in the fridge. You can definitely use it for more than one day. So you can make some ahead of time and you can heat it up later, or make a whole thermos full and take it out to a skating party with your family, or to an event that you're going to with friends. Or just save it for a romantic evening for you and your partner. Whatever it is that you're doing, wherever this could make it just a little bit warmer and more pleasant. Now let's have a taste and see. That is lovely. Now, it's important for you to remember when you're doing this that there are only the rules in your kitchen that you put in your kitchen. So what happens when you put a rule in your kitchen and someone comes along and wants to break that rule? You know, I just had this discussion with somebody that has been doing a tremendous job doing keto, and they were entertaining guests, and the guests were not keto. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Do you step away from what you believe? Do you step away from what you've been doing for your health to satisfy someone else? There's nothing that we do when we are eating a keto diet that we can't serve to other people. It isn't some weird spice from Mumbai that only keto people eat and you have to learn to like it. It isn't like that. We eat normal food. We eat bacon. We eat cheese. We drink hot cocoa. We do that. So when you're entertaining people or attending a gathering, make sure that you're true to yourself. You know, at the end of every live that we spend together, I say, do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. And that includes being true to yourself. And being true to yourself is important self-care. So, you definitely want to do that. Now, you know that every time we get together, I have a hot cup of coffee. And today is not an exception to that rule, but today I have a new cup that a very dear friend of mine brought me as a gift, just to say thank you for being her friend. And you know, when you have a friend that is that dear, someone that would do something so considerate, it is such a privilege to be her friend. So thank you, Sherry. This is very, very special to me, and I am loving drinking my coffee out of it. Now, we are just going to add this hot cocoa. I'm going to just double check, make sure, grab a clean spoon, although it doesn't really matter, it's my cocoa, but oh, that is wonderful. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing. One more thing. Now, do you have cocoa butter in your house? Do you have cocoa butter in your house? If you don't, I recommend it, and I'll tell you why. Or baking chocolate. If you have baking chocolate to your hot cocoa, add 25 grams of baking chocolate. So it's unsweetened. You're not going to be adding any extra sugar to it. So you don't have to worry about that. And it is going to make your cocoa so rich and so creamy. And so I have just added, now this is cocoa paste. So this is like the cocoa liquor that they use to make chocolate. It's not a lot different than baking chocolate. So grab some baking chocolate. Oh my goodness. I've got a tickle in my throat for some reason. Grab some baking chocolate out of your cupboard if you have it and melt it in. You don't want to boil it in. You just want to melt it in. And then take another little taste. Taste it before and after. The difference between the two. It is so much creamier. It is so rich. It is so beautiful. And you just add that to your coffee. Now, I gotta tell you, this amazing cup that I just showed you will hold 36 ounces of whatever you want to put in it. So I can have a lot of coffee and my 500 mils of hot cocoa, and I can enjoy it by myself or with a friend. And right now I'm enjoying it with friends because I'm grateful that you're here with me. Now, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, send it to a friend or 2 or 10. Send it to your family members. Take a link and send it to them. Anyone that this could help that you know, please feel free to send any of the information off this shining life to them. The more people I can reach to help them live a carb-free or low-carb. I have just got a tickle right there. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to say I just needed a swallow of that hot cocoa. And that is not helping, I'm afraid. I don't know what's going on here. I am not sick, but for some reason, I have a scratchy throat right now. Make yourself a hot cup of cocoa today if it's cold where you are, or if you just need something warm and wonderful, and wrap your hands around it and enjoy it. And talk to somebody about living a low-carb lifestyle. Talk to them about the benefits. Talk to them about the lack of inflammation. Talk to them about the increased energy. Talk to them about long, healthy life. And talk to them about living their best version of this shining life. And that's what I want for you for the rest of this week. Now, if you are wondering where you can find me and my Christmas spice mix, I will be at the Wetaskiwin Farmers Market this afternoon in Central Alberta. Friday morning, you can find me in Lacombe at the Farmers Market there. Friday afternoon, you will find me at Midnight Madness in Ponoka at the Community Market. And Saturday, I will be in Hoadley, Alberta at the Christmas Market. So if you are out and about or you know somebody that will be in one of those areas, please come and join me and get your Christmas spice to add to your hot cocoa. And then take it home and continue to live your best version of this shining life. Now, I am going to go and do something about this tickle in my throat, and I will see you Sunday morning. Pardon me. I will see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Friday, I will not be here because I am doing not 1 but 2 markets on Friday. It's going to be a little bit busy. So I will see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and I hope you have an amazing week. I will see you soon. Thanks.